All right, any second now. Hey, we're live. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. To those of you who are here and saw the last live stream, thank you for coming back. You are awesome. Um, that was yesterday, so I'm setting up a new one, obviously right now. Uh, the day after because um, I want to try out different times that I'm live streaming at. So um, I did it around noon, a little past noon yesterday, and right now it's quite a little bit later in the evening. It's around 9 o'clock um, where I live. So I'm doing this obviously for certain time zones to see who can tune in and such. Um, honestly, um, I don't see myself doing this daily, but for the meantime, it is summer. I have some free time, and if I can, I will. So, best case scenario, I'm going to be doing some of these daily. And then at the end of the day, um, I can't always, I know I won't always be able to do this daily because who has a ton of things to talk about every single day, right? Not me. But speaking on things to talk about, if you guys are not aware, go follow me on Twitter. Um, I actually put that in the chat right now. Um, because I'm trying to have that as much as I'm trying to have that account as much as of a YouTube community as possible over there. So that came out wrong for some reason, but you get the idea. It's in my YouTube descriptions and in my YouTube videos all the time. So yeah. Um, speaking of which, one should go up to live tonight. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, um, like usual, we can always discuss some comments that are and questions that are available um from you guys um, on computer technology and such like that. So we can actually go into that right now. Um, I won't open it up here, but I can open it up on a separate thing here. Okay, I guess not. Hang on. All right. Sweet. I should actually turn off now that I think about it. I have a lot of Discord notifications coming in, so I'll actually turn that off. Sorry about that. Okay. I have quite a couple things on Twitter specifically that I can discuss right now. Unfortunately, I have this is a live stream and I'm not 100% prepared. So I have a lot of blank space between the things that I'm going to talk about. So I can't bring this up on screen because I'm not actually using OBS at the moment. But I did get a Twitter DM quite a while ago from someone asking if that from someone that found a computer deal for around $300 on OfferUp. So the used market is an interesting place um, to to buy computer components from, and that just I don't even have to explain why, but essentially most of the time you'll find yourself a pretty good deal if you know what you're looking for. Um, so it's something they found on OfferUp, and they're wondering if it's good enough for gaming like Fortnite, Modern Warfare, GTA, and Rust. So pretty common AAA titles there. And I was also wondering if it has a good or potential upgrade path for parts in the future. So, rule of thumb when you're looking for upgrade paths and things like this, um, you a lot of times you want to look for the storage and the motherboard to make sure they are compatible with a lot of future um, more modern components. So what I mean by that is having uh for example, there's this computer. I'll just list you the parts here. So the computer has an i5 2500K, um and the graphics card is a GeForce GTX 950 with a 250 gigabyte SSD and an Asus P8 P67 Deluxe old flagship motherboard, um, and 8 gigabytes of RAM. Overall, not an ideal sort of computer, but it is listed at $300. So it looks like they have. Uh, I only have a list, by the way. There's no picture of the computer. Um, but for the most part, it looks like they have pretty old components for uh with the GTX 950, I mean, I don't even know if I can call that respectable performance. You probably get some interesting frame rates, like not terrible, but not ideal. But in terms of upgradability in an i5 2500K in the motherboard, um, it just doesn't look good. Especially considering that right now, Intel is not providing the ideal price to performance ratio for its processors. And that's because it's obviously outshined by AMD and Ryzen processors just totally blowing it out of the water. So no, is it good? For $300, probably don't have many high expectations, I'll tell you that, but um is it very upgradable? Is it ideal? No. Um Would I look elsewhere for $300? Yes, especially considering that this is the used market and this is a used computer and you're getting a 950. I mean, I could tell you the 860 Evo with a 250 gigabyte drive isn't bad, but it's only a 250 gigabyte drive. From what I see, there is no other hard drive or anything like that. So this computer would like basically need a lot of work. Um, so long story short, not really. It doesn't have a great upgrade path. Um, and in this case, I would actually look for something something elsewhere because on OfferUp, I'll be honest with you, I've been on OfferUp many times for different projects, and that is considering this one right here. If you're not aware, I this is like a used project. Um, like more than half of the components that you're seeing in this computer are used or slightly used. They're like second-handed parts. So you can definitely, if you're smart with what you're doing and you're like um, invested, you've got to be 100% into this, um, into looking for deals and looking for the right thing on the used market. You're gonna find something good. You can find something like this that you can put together. This is why the hobby is really nice. So thank you for the guys, people. I don't want to call you guys because I don't know if you're guys or not, but thank you for people tuning in right now. Um, it's great to see you guys. But yeah, man. So for the OfferUp thing, honestly, I would look elsewhere. I can't tell you that you can't find some good deals on OfferUp, but I would look either Craigslist, eBay. I trust more eBay than Craigslist, by the way. What I used a lot was Mercari. Um, about a couple months ago. That wasn't bad. I like their policies for the return, uh, and it's almost foolproof the way they have their things there. So another another Twitter inquiry here is a PC part picker list. I know you guys love PC part picker lists. And someone asked me if their build that they had planned was any good. And for the most part, I'll tell you that I get this question a lot. And the thing about it is that if you're spending, for the most part, this is for the most part, if you put this together and you're spending around over $1,000 or close to $1,000, it's going to perform pretty well. It's the once you start getting lower in prices, that's where you're going to start noticing the fact that there is not much performance for the price that your computer costs. But at that higher price, you're going to see something pretty good. Now, this computer is around $600, and the Ryzen 3300X is not available, unfortunately. But this PC part picker list includes. It has an X570 gaming ATX motherboard, 16 gigabytes of 3200 megahertz RAM, and a 1 terabyte hard drive. No, 2 terabyte hard drive and a 1 terabyte M.2 SSD, along with a 1660 Super. So overall, $600. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, PC part picker lists are kind of all over the place, considering that they're not including the price of the processor and the price of the graphics card right now, even though that's the most expensive part of the whole thing. So, and really, this comes over or this should be over $700. So, not the worst PC to put together, considering that for a 1660 Super, you're getting a great graphics card, and I would actually recommend having that as an upgradable path in the future, because the Ryzen 3 3300X can actually be it can be paired with a faster graphics card, even a 2080 Super, and only then will you start to see some bottlenecking situations. So as for that computer list, pretty good. Not ideal, because obviously, like I said, the Ryzen 3 3300X not available. It's actually what I wanted to get my hands on for this project, but I ended up settling with 2 extra cores in the 3600. As crazy as that sounds, because I didn't want to spend that much money. But parts availability and lists is pretty crazy. All right. Oh, someone said fades on claw. Let's go. Yeah, back on the live stream. So another thing I can talk about right now while we're at it is RTX 3000 launch. RTX 3000 launch, in my opinion, has seemed to be way too anticipated. I think a lot of launches, like the 3000 Ryzen desktop CPUs, specifically, that's a very specific example. But things like anticipated launches this year have been, I don't want to say overhyped, but definitely very anticipated by many. And or the B550, that kind of, in my opinion, flopped. And I'm talking about in the perspective of a consumer who is looking for something like a budget build or general technology, or looking into the general buying used and stuff like that. B550 won't be a great option. At least right now it isn't. And I don't see it being in the near future a great option for for general buying and building. What's up, Vapor? How's it going, man? Has your computer still been acting up recently? I know we talked about that in the last stream. Hopefully it hasn't. I'm assuming since the last time I accidentally opened this. I'm assuming since the last time you were here, you actually fixed that because you said you were going to clean it and check out the airflow. Now the thing about the airflow, yeah, it's fixed. It's working good now. Oh, that's perfect. Did that help, or did you try something new? I'm assuming you tried something different because I gave you some very vague answers. What's that Funko Pop? This Funko Pop is Jason, Friday the 13th. It's pretty interesting. I actually like this one a lot because it's very unique, and I actually got this as a gift. So what I like to do a lot is here. Let me show you something. A little feature of this case is you have an opening glass door instead of one that instead of a tempered glass where you have the thumb screws on. And so what I like to do sometimes for certain dramatic effect is put the Jason or a certain Funko Pop in there. And he's just chilling in there. And yeah, it's Friday the 13th, Jason. Yeah, I cleaned it and updated the drivers. That's great. That's probably like the basics that you kind of want to get out of the way when you realize that your computer's running slow or not what it should be running at. Is definitely cleaning it, updating and optimizing drivers and such like that. So that's good. That's good to hear. I'm actually going to take this out right now. Put this up here. For the video that I made on how to build this computer, I had it in for the dramatic effect of the B-roll that I made, which was, man, that was a work in progress because I am not used to recording a lot of B-roll. And yeah. So can you make a PC part list for 350 to 600? I've made a few myself, but I'm trying to get a few ideas of what I should try and get. Yeah, so by 350 to 600, you're talking about price range, right? Are you talking US dollars? And by the way, 350 to 600 is actually a pretty wide margin. The difference between a $350 computer to a $600 computer is pretty big. But also sick PC. Thank you. So I'm assuming you have a wide budget kind of thing here. I don't know. I can make one right now, probably off the top of my head, but the thing about this is that I only have my webcam running on right now. So it wouldn't be ideal. I can't show anything on stream since I'm not using OBS right now. That's unfortunate. So what I can do, however, is probably are you Canadian? No, I'm not Canadian. Why do you ask? What I can do is probably write this down on a piece of paper and give you guys my thought process while I'm doing this. So here I'm assuming. Okay, so you said yeah. So I'm assuming we're using like US dollars. So I'm gonna use Amazon and Newegg here, and I'm gonna do this. And by normal, I mean decent. Let me reread this. for 3. I have made a few myself, but I'm trying to get a few days of what I should try again. I made some with a 2600 1660 Super and just a bad power supply case. Some decent RAM and other normal stuff. Okay, so yeah, so the thing about Ryzen builds is that unfortunately it's kind of give and take compromise thing. So if you're using Ryzen CPU, I highly recommend you have some. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands. This Italian thing. I don't know what I'm doing. But if you're using a Ryzen CPU, I recommend you have higher clock speed RAM. So anything from 3000 megahertz above is probably what you're going to need. So here's the thing. I need to write this down for my brain to actually work in these things. So one thing. 1 second here. Now, the way I actually make some of the PC builds that I do get to is actually writing it down. So I write down initial thoughts and I go from there. So assuming you're going with a 2600, let's actually try something different, something available. Because I would love to recommend the 3300X. I was talking about this a few minutes ago, but unfortunately, that just seems like it's not feasible because it's hasn't been in stock for a while now. So, let's try. I haven't checked on the 1600 AF in a while. So I want to see the position that that's in right now. Okay, so $240 is the cheapest price. So yeah, so well would it yeah, see, okay, see this we have similar thought process going on around here. The Ryzen 5 1600 AF is at cheapest $240 and I would not recommend buying this for over $100. I'm skeptical on buying this over $100. That's how overpriced that is. So not even in another, I can't imagine a parallel universe where that would be a good price. So the Ryzen 5 1600 is not really a good option. I actually want to see Newegg prices right now. I have a feeling this is going to take a lot of time, but okay, $150, still not that great on Newegg. Which is very unfortunate because this was a good processor around the spring of 2020. And it sucks because what about just 1200 nanometer? I'm assuming you mean 12 nanometer. Okay. Yeah. The 1600 AF is not available in my country. That's unfortunate. Honestly, it's at this point I don't know why I heard screaming in my headphones, but at this point I would not even consider the 1600 AF to be available in the United States because I just showed you. I wish I could show you right now. Okay, next time, by the way, guys, a note to self. I'm going to start streaming on OBS because I want to display my screen. And it's so ironic because I actually set it up before I went live just now. And I wanted to display my screen. And I was like, no, I'm assuming there's not going to be that much to talk about. So I'll just have a webcam on. But now I wish I could show you this. So, but anyway, like I was saying, the 1600 AF is practically not available right now because like I'm looking at right now, the prices it's going for is just we can't even consider that. So is the 1200 AF even good? Yeah, it's pretty decent. It's pretty good. Good question. I haven't checked prices on that. See, a lot of these questions depend a lot on the prices and the situation that we're going to be using them for. So I want to say it is the last time I checked, but that's been a while. No, this isn't the AF. Let's check out the non AF version. Nope. That is close to $200. There's no way anyone should be paying $200 for that. Someone said, which reminds me, out of stock at B&H and Newegg and Amazon. Yikes. Yeah. Yeah, I was just about to say I'm not seeing it here. So yeah, it's totally gone. Someone said, hang on. Someone said I'm excited for the new APUs. Those should be interesting. If you guys are aware of who, I think I kicked the camera. Sorry about that. If you guys are aware of the Low Spec Gamer, he makes a lot of great content on the low budget and the performance CPUs at that price range give. So I would definitely check out some of his stuff, especially since he talks a lot about developing countries and their situation on computer components. So in that case, a lot of those should be good options because I like what he does. So look him up on YouTube if you don't know who he is. Low Spec Gamer. He talks a lot about the Athlon and how the Athlon is. I guess I can agree in some sense for a frugal buyer. For someone who's definitely looking for something like super cheap, super bang for the puck. But the 1600 AF is too expensive for that kind of stuff, for that kind of consumer. Wait, what CPU are you using? I'm using right now. I'm using the 3600. I got that used for $140. I can actually run down prices right now. How much is the 3100 in the US right now? Assuming it's available in the US. What's up, Ant Gaming? Sorry about that. What are we talking about? We're talking about prices on computer components right now in the US and developing countries and how overpriced they are specifically. So, a used CPU, is that a good option? So here's the thing. So let me just look up. I'm getting off topic. Let me just look up the 3100 right now. The 3100 is around $170, $190. See, this is what bothers me the most is that ever since they were announced, the 3100 was supposed to be $100 and the 3300X was supposed to be 120. And ever since they released, they were nowhere near that. It was frankly the other way around, with the 3100 being around $130 and then the 3300X almost matching the price at some point of the 3600. But right now it's sitting in the US, it's sitting at the 3100 is sitting at $173 at the cheapest for new. A used CPU, is that a good option? So the way that I actually scored a deal on the CPU that I'm using right now is someone was actually wanted to get rid of it because they planned on building a computer, but they just didn't go through with it. And they ended up having a brand new Ryzen 5 3600 and unopened. I made sure to check. This is the thing about buying used. You need to be careful with that kind of stuff. Make sure how long people have used it, what kind of condition it's in, and stuff like that. I made sure it was unopened. He hadn't used it. He hasn't used it. And so I was like, okay, I'll offer you like $140, and I got lucky. But if it wasn't open, then it wasn't used. Yes, technically, but I'm considering it used in the sense that I got it for a used price. Because right now the Ryzen 3600, last time I checked, was around 160 something bucks. at the lowest. Someone is screaming in my house. Um, and at the regular MSRP of like right now, I'm pretty sure I'm not even checking, but I'm almost sure it'll go for $170. So yeah, that's a good freaking deal. That's what I'm saying. I'm telling you guys, if you know what you're, if you're a little smart with what you're doing on the used market, you can save yourself a whole lot of cash. A whole lot of cash. I feel like I'm missing a lot of comments here. People are hoarding CPUs. Yes, they are. Unfortunately, resellers have no problem. This is what bothers me the most, guys. Resellers have no problem right now, spiking up the prices on things like this. As soon as I built this computer, I kept checking on the used market. People were just like selling the 3300X since it was sold out on a Newegg. I was like, where did all these processors go? I'm assuming a lot of resellers were selling these off on like I don't know, OfferUp, eBay, and stuff like this. This is where I saw them, and listing them at like $200. I'm sitting here looking at a 3300X 4-core processor. Sure, it's a little bit higher clock speed than a 3600, but the 3600 is like $30 cheaper than this 3300X. And this guy's trying to charge everyone on the internet, trying to scam someone, like $40 above a better processor than what he's selling. So at this point, just be careful with what you're doing. A non-AF should be $60 max. Yes. In a non-pandemic, thanks a lot, the Chinese tariffs. In a non-pandemic, in an ideal MSRP world, an APU should be around $60 max. Well, not out, but very expensive. I consider a lot of things, like when a processor is very expensive, I consider that out of stock, because there shouldn't be people paying 200, like we just saw. There shouldn't be people paying $240 for a Ryzen 5 1600 AF. And so that's just kind of what makes it out of stock. Yeah, so going back, Mr. Miz 623, going back to what we were talking about, your build. I'm gonna run really late into this, so I'm not gonna make a whole huge discussion or a whole build, especially when I could be doing that in the next stream where I could actually show my display to you guys. So I think that's more convenient, and I'll do that on the next stream. But for right now, we can talk about I lost my train of thought for a second. We can talk about your build overall as a whole, like what I would throw in it, in general. So you said earlier a Radeon GPU, and in general terms, because that's what we're talking about, yeah, that wouldn't be a terrible option, a Radeon GPU, because they do offer. Last time I checked, they do offer you don't want to use a Radeon. I think it wouldn't be a terrible option, because they do offer a better bang for your buck, like more price to performance than an NVIDIA card. Should you use a Radeon or a 1660 Super? It depends what Radeon. And it depends if you're comfortable. That's all personal preference, I'll be honest with you. I would go generally, I would go generally for a 1660, just because I'm comfortable. Like, this is my personal opinion. I'm comfortable on the GeForce experience and the drivers. I know how they work. And I actually personally enjoy the NVIDIA Shadow Play. I use that a bit. So at that point, as long as it's comparable graphics, comparable Radeon graphics card to a 1660 Super, I would say you can't really go wrong. The 1660 Super is good, And the thing about it is, if you upgrade it, I'm assuming you should be upgrading it to an RTX 2060, an RTX 2070, and you're only going to get better performance from there. Sorry, just got back. What gear do you use to film videos? Um, I am in the process of using what I have. So I say that as I recently bought a microphone stand here, but I mean, audio quality is a huge priority for me. So, and speaking on that, um, if it wasn't noticeable to you guys, I actually use my cell phone as a camera. I'm using it as a webcam right now, and I use it for most of my videos. Uh, did you know that? Could you tell? You probably should be able to tell because it's pretty low quality, but in terms of video, the reason I don't have a camera is because I genuinely believe that um, it is not Android. I genuinely believe that audio is better than video. Like I generally, if I were watching a live stream, if I were watching a YouTube video, I would stick around for a video that has better audio quality than like, I don't know, just 1080p instead of like 1440p or something like that, as opposed to really bad audio quality. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I've actually invested a little bit more in lighting, which helps in general video quality, right? As long as it's 1080p, you guys can see me and I'm cool with that. But I want to prioritize audio. So this might be showing up in videos, future videos that I'll be making starting next week because I have some pre-recorded stuff. So there was a question. Depends on the radio. Which B450/B550 micro ATX would you recommend? Motherboard. I got you, bro. B450M Pro F4 is a good motherboard. Yeah. So I talked about this in the last stream. When people ask me what kind of stuff they recommend, I have to assume it's for overall use, right? So a motherboard isn't gonna improve your gameplay. Like say you're doing editing, right? Video editing, photo editing, or you're streaming, or you're playing video games, or you're doing regular computer stuff, right? Excuse me. A motherboard isn't going to make your computer run faster. It will give you more features for your computer to for you to use your computer in what you want it, right? And that's in VRMs, that's in overclocking availability, obviously in the CPU socket, and things like that, and your RAM speeds that it supports. So at the end of the day, the best motherboard out there that's B450 is the Tomahawk Max. So not considering any budget and not considering a price availability because this motherboard, last time I checked, runs out. Like it sells out, I should say, not runs out. It sells out very, very quickly. But the best B450 is the Tomahawk Max. Shoot, you just said micro ATX. I'm out of my mind. In that case, I would go for. Hang on a second. This is why I keep these boxes handy. The B450 Aorus M, you can't go wrong with it. It's a great B450 motherboard. Supports Ryzen 3000 straight out of the box, RGB Fusion 2.0. It's sitting in this computer right now. Hey, not the highest end B450, but then again, it is micro ATX, so it's what you're looking for, right? Socket AM4, obviously. It's what I'm using right now. It supports up to 3200 megahertz in RAM speeds, by the way. Thought you should know that. In case you are planning on spending something like 3600 megahertz, you're only going to be able to run 3200 megahertz max. Um, Pretty good motherboard. I would recommend. But yeah, if you're not looking for micro ATX, you definitely should consider the Tomahawk Max. I was trying to focus more on performance rather than aesthetic. How long is this stream gonna be? I gotta go for now, but I want to get back to this when I'm done. It depends how many people ask me stuff. So as long as people keep asking me stuff and more people keep interacting with me, the longer the stream will be. I don't really have a set time, but yeah. Better than the Steel Legend? I don't know about that. How much is that? I see the thing about this, guys, keep in mind, like I said, this computer, half of it is used. So this I got for around $80 when it was sold out. And it usually goes for around $80, $90, but it was sold out. So I was like, I might as well just pick it up if I can get it. And it was practically new, just like the CPU I was talking about earlier. So I figured, why the heck not? Right. But I haven't checked the MSRP on Newegg or Amazon ever since. The B450M Steel Legend AM4 goes for around $100. I mean, man, my mouth is really dry. But this isn't a bad option. I would say that at the end of the day, the RGB is a main selling point. I'll give you that. The RGB is very nice. I don't know if I answered this, but is 3000 megahertz RAM good? Yes, it is. It is good. Hi there. Talk to you too. How you doing, bro? I actually want, now that got me thinking on the prices of the B450 Aorus. I want to see how much that goes for. And while I'm at it, I'll talk about. Oh, I searched that up wrong, I guess. I'll talk about the parts. You guys want to hear about the parts that are in this computer and how I got them for a super low price? Oh, you're gonna build your PC on Saturday. Let's go. That's the move. That's exciting. I know it's been a while since you've probably been planning on that. Actually, I will say, guys, I like the feature. If you're still here listening, Zenkai, who asked me about the motherboard, this has an M.2 heatsink that comes with it. So that's a pro if you're using an M.2 SSD. I don't have an NVMe SSD, an M.2, but I will take advantage of that when I do that. I do have one in the future. So this motherboard right now, a Newegg, goes for around $95 all the way to $130. Let me search this up on Amazon. So same prices, $95. Not a bad motherboard for the price. Not bad at all. But I want to talk about the kind of the prices of what I got here in this computer. By the way, talk to you too. Are you still going with the same computer components? Because I remember you mentioning that. I believe that was you who mentioned that in the video. That was a good build. But so, like, back to what I was kind of going off of earlier. If you guys are on the used market, it's probably because you want a good deal or you're just curious what the heck you can find on there. Because you see a lot of, if you haven't, there's a lot of YouTubers that will talk about how on the used market, they'll find these good deals and things like that. And most of the time, it's actually not like that at all. It's not how it's painted out to be. Um, that's kind of the result of kind of the work that they put in looking for that. But it never comes out to you on the used market. If you guys aren't aware, or if you're interested in that kind of stuff, if you're interested in getting such a pretty good deal on some of these things. So this Ryzen 5 3600 usually goes for around 160 $170 new. I got it for around 140. This motherboard, it was out of stock, completely out of stock everywhere on the internet, at least where I live. And I got it for the MSRP, basically brand new, just like the processor, uh, from Mercari, I think it was. Um, and obviously, I tested these parts out with previous components that I had. So that's how I was able to make sure that these worked. And obviously, asking the seller questions and things like that. So I'm trying to find, Frobird is trying to find a used RX 570. Those you could get a pretty good deal off of that. I think as of now, the RX 570 is actually a very low price on Amazon. Nope, I stand corrected. They went up. So the cheapest RX 570s would go for around 120 bucks. So that was a pretty good deal for a good card. The RX 570 seems like it's very old, but frankly, it's a classic at this point. Uh, yeah, at $165. This model, I wish I could show you, but this model used to go for 120 a couple months ago, and now it's at 165. So, frankly, uh, it's good that you're looking for a used one, but be careful with that. Definitely be careful. Sometimes I see used RX 570s for $90-ish on OfferUp. Used, yeah, I think I've seen some of those as well. Now what a lot of the things, what happens on apps like OfferUp though, is they'll have massive resellers. Just, I keep kicking this camera. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. Um, I moved it too much of this. But at this point, um, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so uh, there's a lot of sellers uh, selling this for around $90 because they just keep buying it and buying it and reselling it. So you don't know where exactly this graphics card lands most of the time. And you got to keep in mind that some of the consumers of computer components aren't necessarily as lightweight on these parts. What I mean by that is they could probably be using this for crypto mining, even though it's not even worth it at this point. But yeah, I realize this guy is spamming. But yeah, for RX 570s, shipping does cost a lot sometimes. Yes, RX 570s aren't a bad price on the used market most of the time, but you know, it is what it is. You get what you pay for at the end of the day. Uh, most of the time, you should, unless you're getting scammed on the used market. So now that we have some people in here, I want to actually ask um, what you guys think on RTX 3000. What are your thoughts? What do you think? I'm finding good deals, but it's really sketchy. I mentioned Mercari a couple times already, and I'll say the reason I like it is it cuts off the interaction in person of actual transactions. So if you're worried about the sketchy part being that you're meeting other people like eBay and Craigslist and such to do an in-person transaction, Mercari just has a shipping service and a really good return policy and things like that. I have no money. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. Uh, we're all broke at some point in some way. Um, but yeah, the RTX 3000 launch is interesting to say the least. I'll say that. Definitely not. Definitely not on the top of my list for covering on the channel, simply because uh, for frugal buyers and certain consumers like myself, uh, there's no interest in things like that because uh, it- I think there's already proof in that um, there's already proof in that we have hardware that should be available but isn't. Honestly, I'm excited for benchmarks, but not excited for scalpers resellers. Yeah, unfortunately, unfortunately, that's how the parts are flowing right now. Hoarding and resellers, they're just spiking up the prices. I've been looking at the Ryzen 5 3400G. I want to see. I wonder how much that goes if it's still up on Amazon. I haven't taken a look at some of these prices in so long, considering that most of the time that I have tried to look in the past, um, there's no point because the prices are crazy, and until now I haven't bothered to check. So it's in stock at 150 $150, a 4-core 8-thread unlocked desktop graphics processor. Um, hmm. I'm trying to think if you pair this with a certain motherboard. Mm, this wouldn't be a bad option. Along with, uh, I know a couple weeks ago, I think it was a couple weeks ago, if not last month, where the Ryzen 3200G was actually a feasible option. But then again, it was in stock back then. Um, Yeah, so the 3200G would be $95, but it's not in stock until August 16th, which I mean isn't that long, but it's not in stock. It's not available. And reasons like this are why I haven't put out a PC build guide or anything PC building related. Because it's first of all, it's you guys would know how hard it is to just generally find anything that's available, but having let alone making a video. Making a video is just a whole different process because you need to find it, put the rest of the parts together, make sure it's still up by then, like the prices are still consistent and the availability is still consistent. Then you have to film the whole video, and then you have to make sure that the prices are still consistent and the availability is still consistent. Because if you're making a PC build guide on a 3200G, but it's not available till like not July, like September or something, there's no point in releasing that video, and that's why I haven't made so many videos. Um, and there's been many times where I've literally scratched several videos in a row because of reasons like this. Then you have to edit the whole video and then pray it's still together. And if not, you have to add more editing to clarify that it's not still at the same price or at the same availability. I need whoops. I need more cores because the softwares I use is CPU intensive. Um, do you have a Wi-Fi card in your PC or is it a new motherboard? I have a Wi-Fi adapter in my PC, and I'm obviously not going to pull it out, but it's um, by EDUP, I think. the company. It's not in the motherboard. It's not built into the B450A or SM. I wish it were. I wish, now that you mention it, I actually wish so many more motherboards came with um, a mother or Wi-Fi. Many more budget motherboards came with Wi-Fi cards in the motherboard to eliminate that process of having to buy a whole adapter. So what softwares do you use, Frobird? Frobrid. I've been saying that wrong. Need more cores because the softwares I use CPU intensive. I can say that for myself in what I'm doing right now, kind of like the streaming, but it's not intense at all. Like I'm sure we can actually hold this stream off of a laptop. Music production? Oh, that's dope. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, so what I'm doing right now, at this point, it's such a basic stream that it doesn't really even benefit. If I had a quad core or a 6-core CPU, it wouldn't really, you guys wouldn't notice a difference. I'm still running at 1080p and such. So, and plus I don't game that much. Whoa. What is this? This audio is picking up something. Somebody's playing classical music outside my door. I was actually planning to build a PC with DGPU, but I'm considering an iGPU. Yeah, so in the sense that you don't game that much, I would say Flight of the Bumblebees. I would say that you're actually fine going with a regular, a not that good. Okay, so the most build guides actually, and now that I think about it, have you believe they are tailored for gaming and all around good use. But they'll have you believe you need a graphics card, a dedicated good graphics card. And I'm sure you are aware that you don't need it in your situation, Frobrid. Um, that they'll have the general consumer believe that you need a good graphics card for to have your computer up and running and stuff. But you can actually get by with something very, very simple. You like that? Do you like that music? Should I turn the mic gain up? Because they closed their door. So should I turn it up so you can hear it again? Vapor says I stream on OBS and it says to put video bitrate. How do I figure out what to put? Not sure what you're talking about. I have mine on the default bitrate. I'm pretty sure you can hear it again. The music. You can search it on Google. Yeah, wow. Yikes. Not used to this setup. Not used to that at all. And these headphones are small too. I don't know if you guys could hear that. I just knocked these headphones against the microphone, which means this is probably not an ideal setup for this. Uh, so speaking of the ideal setup, I actually wanted to get an opinion from you guys from the last stream. I got someone mentioned, I don't think they're in the chat right now, but they mentioned that I should have, for my typical videos, this is the microphone I plan to use. Um, but for regular, like formal kind of videos that I'll be making as opposed to a live stream, I should actually have this whole boom arm and the microphone out of frame, um, and have it, since it is a condenser microphone, have it pick up audio as I speak in the video. But I wanted to get an opinion for like from most of the audience, you guys. What do you think I should do? Should I keep this in the shot, or should I do that? Should I make sure that the boom arm is out of the frame for my videos and things like that? For the live stream, I think I'll just keep it like this. I don't know if you guys care or not, but I don't think it's a big deal if I have the the whole microphone in the shot, considering I do want better audio quality being closer to the microphone for live streams. But for videos, if you guys have any suggestions, um, let me know. Or any thoughts, let me know. I would love to read them. For just browsing, writing, and stuff like that, even my 512 laptop and GPU is pretty much just fine. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, speaking of which, right now, what I'm looking at when I look to the side right here is a uh, Dell Inspiron 7500, and I picked that up recently for school, actually. So, um, um, I picked it up for school, and it only has an NVIDIA MX 330. I can double check, but the last time I checked, it was not an impressive graphics card. The MX 330 is not, it's no slouch, but it's not an impressive graphics card. Most of the performance comes from the i7 in the laptop. Um, and it has the laptop boasts different features that obviously cater to what I looked for, because I'll be using it for school. But my point here is that, yeah, somebody said that's an old GPU. It is an old GPU, and it still gives good performance. That's the thing. Um, I haven't obviously done any benchmarks on it. I just picked it up recently, but you don't need a 2070 Super in a laptop like most uh, gaming laptops are coming out with. By the way, what are your guys' thoughts on that? I want to have someone else give me their thoughts on that, because personally, I think those laptops are quite ridiculous. Like I was actually shopping for this laptop, looking for a good laptop, and I came across. I was not aware. My mind was totally boggled at how much laptops are selling. Like laptop manufacturers are getting into dedicated graphics cards. I saw many laptops had a better graphics card than what's in here, and like better performance. And I looked at those and I was like, there's no way people are throwing their money into this, right? And it was just, I don't know. The build quality wasn't amazing, nor was it terrible, but it was an extremely expensive laptop. It boasted like those flashy accent marks, which I'm not a fan of personally. Um, and you can only imagine how hot that thing would get in the thermal throttling. I want to read this because I went on a little bit of a rant. Um, I know nothing about building PCs, but I'm planning on building one with my friend. Lol. Hey man, that's what this channel is for. Um, we all have started, and in some sense, I still, in some sense, know nothing about computers. Um, we all we all have a lot to learn. But you're planning on building one with your friend. That should be exciting. That's how I built my first computer. Have fun with that, dude. It's definitely fun when you have the own experience yourself, and you're kind of having fun with it, and it's your own little project kind of thing. And as you get more comfortable, if you choose to continue building, um, and if you can, hopefully you can, if you choose to, it only gets better once you get more creative with your things. It's a waste of money. Turing will age like milk. I love that. Laptops should use APUs. I could get behind that actually. For the main consumer, main consumers, general consumers, like your average consumer, um, would probably buy a laptop thinking like, okay, it'll give me, decent performance, not knowing how much a 2070 Super. Um, frankly, I feel like it ruins the laptop more than it helps in the graphic sense. Like, yeah, the 2070 Super is a powerful graphics card, but I mean, with the temps and like you guys are saying, the Turing will age like milk. Um, I feel like it hurts the laptop in more of a sense, and that's why general consumers will probably like go to buy that, thinking that it's a decent, it's a hefty price, but you're getting decent performance. But at the same time, it's like you don't need any more than most general consumers. At the same time, don't need anything more than an APU. I've never built one before, but he has, so it'll be interesting. Definitely make sure if you really care about it, unless he's billing it for you and you don't care, definitely make sure you get some hands on with that. Don't let him do everything for you. Um, that is assuming you care and you kind of want to do something. Um, but yeah, but if you don't care and you want him to build it for you and you just want to be there for the ride, that's cool too. Uh, MacBooks is reasonable. MacBooks are reasonable. Um, you know, yeah, it's gonna be like $1,800, so I don't really trust myself. That's a lot. That's a lot of cash, dude. You're dropping on a computer right now. Good for you. Good for you. MacBooks. Let me tell you, MacBooks are actually reasonable in the sense that they become more reasonable when you are already attached to the Apple ecosystem. And on the channel, I don't talk a lot about this sort of thing, like the Apple itself, because it's very mainstream, and I don't like getting mainstream. Um, I don't like talking about. I am into. At one point, I was definitely into like iPhones and iPhone and cell phone hardware as much as I am into computer hardware. But the reason I have a channel sort of dedicated to PC hardware is because it's not as mainstream as iPhone, cell phone hardware, and things like that. But I'll tell you what, MacBooks are starting to become more of a reasonable thing, in my opinion, for school. Um, there are a lot of things I still don't agree with. Um, um, such as I still think that when you buy an Apple product, the price that you're paying is still partially for the Apple logo. Like you're still paying for an Apple logo. And some of their products, yes, are very overpriced. But most of them, I should say, are actually, yeah, very well made. Apple makes good products. So at the end of the day, if you're overpaying maybe a little bit for something like a MacBook, um, at least for the most part, you'll be sure that you're getting a very good quality product. Um, and for school, I'm sure you guys can only imagine how much bank Apple makes around this time, like the time right now. As we speak, Apple is, um, has been sitting, but they're making a lot of money. I was going to say they're sitting on a gold mine, but they have been making a lot of money. Mm, Matt, so yeah, you can't really go wrong with it. Pretty good for school. I almost picked one up, but I decided to stick with Windows instead of Mac OS for school. Just personal preference. It's gonna be. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, I view my phone. Talk to you says. I mean, I view my phone as nothing more than a tool when I need the weather in 10 seconds. What else am I going to use? I just find it hard to care about the specs when they're pretty much all the same. Um, that's arguable. I would The reason I say that's debatable, and it's like you could argue that many of the phones aren't the same, um, and they haven't been the same for the longest time, is when you look at a lot of the Android phones. I I like the quality of product that Apple makes in their iPhones, but I'll tell you what, I used to value a lot more the Androids um, that were released with a lot of care to the hardware. Like, and by hardware I mean internals. So if you guys have ever heard of OnePlus, um, they used to be a company that right now they've got into a lot of mainstream stuff. I haven't followed them because of that, but I used to like that company a lot because they made cell phones with true performance, like incredible performance that outshined any phone. But they were such a small company and they were Android. Um, and it set them apart. It set them apart for that, and they were not the same as other phones. With like they were above the game. This was when iPhones had, what was it? The iPhone 6, iPhone 7 had like 2 GB of RAM. This phone's smaller variant, like the lower spec variant, was selling with 8 GB of RAM. It was selling with 8 GB of RAM. It was a powerhouse. But I'm sure it was so small. I'm sure you've never heard of the OnePlus 3 back in 20, whenever the frick it was that it came out, 2016, 2015. Man, I keep kicking this. Sorry about that. I'm sure it's no big deal. But wait, didn't Apple say they're not going to make Macs with Intel CPUs anymore? Yes, they did say that. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't bother with Macs. I don't bother with Macs, MacBooks, iPhones. I guess you could say iPads. Totally different story. But Macs, I don't. They're a different thing. I don't mess with Macs. In 2022, they're going full. Yes, damn, poor Intel. Honestly, right now, you kind of feel bad for Intel. I'll be honest with you. 2 years ago, I didn't feel bad for Intel. And you know what? Thanks to that, I kind of don't feel bad for Intel now. Intel ripping you off on a quad core processor at around $300. This was 2-3 years ago, by the way. There's no way they can do that now, thanks to Ryzen and AMD. I don't feel bad. You get what you deserve. Am I right? I mean, a lot of you are probably confused. Some of you, who am I to say that? But you might be confused and saying, "Oh, poor Intel." But I as a consumer back then, due to my experiences, don't feel bad. Intel is getting what they have been deserving for a long time. AMD is making them pay. Does that PC next to you run any game good? No, this PC is frankly trash and it runs every game terribly. How is Apple always at the top? Brand recognition and trust, pretty much. Yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to talk. Like, that's kind of what I wanted to say, but I kind of said it in the most roundabout way ever. That's kind of the way I talk, guys. Sorry about that. iPads is really good for school right now. Yeah. I a lot iPads, honestly, in my opinion, turning a lot into laptops. Like, not even the newer gen, like, well, yeah, I shouldn't say that. Newer gen iPads are starting to, like, I don't know if it's just me, but they're becoming more like a laptop. My sister got the new iPad for college. Yep. I feel iPads started a lot in elementary school. When I was in middle school, I got laptops in my school. We were fortunate enough to, and the elementary school kids got iPads. I got a flu shot in my hand. Really hurts right now. Yikes. You mean your arm? Rest in peace. My arm is stiff right now. I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, I was gonna say Tiger Plays. No, this uh I said this PC was trash. No, it was not. Sorry. I was just messing around. It runs what I needed to run perfectly fine. And what I needed to run is either uh content creation like this, basic streaming, editing. My I will say my editing software is DaVinci Resolve, and I'm pretty sure if I run any high-end computer, it will still lag on DaVinci Resolve. So it runs DaVinci Resolve at least, to edit basic content creation and uh, a priority in gaming. And specifically, um, I'm running a high refresh rate monitor right now, so I play esports titles in that sense. Um, Primarily Rainbow Six. So yeah, it's not that hard to run Rainbow Six, so it runs it pretty well. It runs what I needed to, and I'm sure. Hang on, gotta crack the neck. I'm sure if you're building an $1,800 computer, you're gonna be fine with basically whatever you need it to. A GTX 1080 is an old GPU, but it's still really good. Very good. Very good. Frankly, I'd say in the used market, the 1070 was an even better buy. I haven't looked into the 1070 recently, but the 1070 Ti and the RTX 2060 Super are kind of there in battling and performance wise. But the GTX 1080, I feel like at the end of the day, it's quite overlooked. It's quite underrated. With the whole release of the 2080 and all that. Considering that the 2080, I'll be honest, isn't the smartest buy right now. But hey, to each their own. I'm waiting for the new APU because I'm gonna buy the Ryzen 7, the 4700G. Okay. If you can get a 1070 for 190, then you've got a pretty good deal. I want to check that out. Now that you have brought that up. I haven't been on eBay in a while, and I told myself I didn't want to be back ever since I finished this project. But here we go. 70. Let's see how much this goes for. I'm seeing a Zotac 1070, the mini, for $108. There's 3 bids on that right now. I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of Zotac for a very cheap price, obviously. I am seeing an EVGA super clocked 1070 for $200 or best offer. Pre-owned. Yeah. So Zotac, PNY, main manufacturers for these graphics cards. I don't see anything else. I don't. Somebody just sneezed. I really like that blue and the black case. I might get something like that. You guys want to see something cool? If my computer doesn't act up right now, we can do a little light show here. Hang on. Okay. So you see that? This is something weird. It does a lot. So there you go. You guys just saw that? It flashes. Yeah, it's white. It looks blue. Probably because of the camera. I'll show you blue here. I keep it up here. So the with RGB Fusion 2.0, I can control the RAM LED. So let's do a little bit of a golden pulse. You guys like that? I keep it at a static white because that's kind of the essence of what I was going for when I first built it. So thank you. I appreciate the compliment. The it's actually white, but the blue in the black case, because that's what I was going for. My desk is kind of black, but it has white legs, and this desk that the computer is sitting on right here is white. So kind of to match that. It looks blue to you. I don't blame you, honestly. I'll show you blue though. Here's a blue option. Here's light blue. This is a darker blue. Are you kidding me, man? Is RGB even important? We all know it adds extra frame rate to guaranteed to any game. Yes, over 30% in performance increase. Thank you. I appreciate your support, your backup there. Okay, so that Tiger Plays, this is the baby blue. It looks like a baby blue on the controller here. And then if I switch it to a darker blue, that's kind of what it looks like. I think did that change? Yeah, it did change. Okay. Yeah, there you go. See that? Now that's the darkest blue. Now let me give you a little light show, guys. The thing about so these fans came, I bought these separately. They're by Apivia. It came in a 4-pack. I bought them separately from the case. So if you want to, if you're interested, which I'm sure you just said you like them, you're obviously going to have to buy them separately, unless you're lucky enough to find a case right now that has like a good setup that comes with fans. The more RGB, the better gamer you'll be. Exactly. There you go. You're getting the right idea already. Okay, I would stand corrected. This is actually darker blue. This right here. Here, let me open up my thing. Yeah, so this is actually darker blue. I didn't know that could get darker. That's actually impressive. No, here, okay, I keep saying there's gonna be a show, but here's the I wanna give you guys a little bit of a tour here. What color do I set my RAM sticks to be? You know what? I'll have them at red. Don't answer that. Wow, the color wheel is hard to use. That's not red, is it? That looks red enough on camera. I'm not going to bother going through the time to set that up. Okay, now for the light show. The thing I like about this fan set is that we get RGB. Now stick around. You're going to watch this. You're going to like this. It changes. It doesn't just go RGB. It goes, look at that. You like that? And then it goes green, red, purple, yellow. No, purple, green, red, blue. Look at that. And then 1 second, it'll do something more special. There you go. Yeah. I think that's pretty sick. It's got a little, come on. You guys gotta like that. How about green RAM, purple fans? I like the way you're thinking. I like the way you're going for you're either going Hulk or you're going for a Joker vibe. That's what I'm getting. So green RAM, purple fans. Let's see what's a good purple here. Wow. I think I might be colorblind. That's kind of purple, right? Unless I'm colorblind. Splatoon colors. Yeah, no, my brain, whenever I see these colors, it instantly goes to the Incredible Hulk or the Joker with Mark Hamill. Thank you, Tiger Plays. That looks so good. Can you say my name? No, I can't read. For a second, I thought your name would be Bend Over. That's funny. I was joking with a friend earlier this morning about that name specific. It's funny you mentioned that. I don't game that much, so can I not buy RGB? Considering you don't game, you're not gonna see the performance gain with RGB. It's just the sad truth, dude. If you're not buying RGB, you're not gonna see the performance gain. Yikes. I can't speak. Yellow RAM and red fans. I would have actually done that if you didn't type communism, if you didn't involve communism in that. Can you recommend me a good PC that plays GTA 5? Nicholas, you can get by with a quad-core processor. So honestly, if you're looking for 60 FPS, you could get by with an APU that plays. If we're only talking about GTA 5 here, you can get by with a Ryzen 3200G. So many hackers on the original Fall Guys. Fall Guy, yeah, I heard about that. Fall Guys has hackers now. That is so unfortunate. Best budget GPU? How budget are we talking, man? I was in a doubt. Yeah. You can't really go wrong, Nicholas. Like, you're essentially an APU is not going to do you bad because you're going to want a graphics card to run GTA 5, right? Your game is going to benefit from a dedicated graphics card. But if we're talking about like a little bit of on a budget here, I'm not sure what kind of budget we're talking about, but if we're talking about a combo, you'll be fine with any quad-core processor from Ryzen, in my opinion. Say maybe like a 3100 if we're going on a budget. And then for your GPU, considering we're talking about $100 something processor, you probably might want to go for an RX 580 if you're comfortable with that. Some people will bash people for recommending an RX 580, but I don't think it's terrible. You could have go for a 1650. Honestly, I love the 1650's value that it gave when it was released. The 1650 Super was a great value. Best budget GPU anytime. I built my PC. I just need a GPU. Can I play without that? It depends what processor you have. A Ryzen 3 3100. I believe you need a dedicated graphics card for that. Tiger Plays, are you asking me what keyboard do I have? I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not sure what the model is called, but the brand is Fnatic. It's an esports team. I'm not a huge Fnatic fan. I actually don't watch esports, but the reason I picked it up, you're probably asking yourself, why'd you pick up a Fnatic keyboard if you don't even care about it? It was open box and I found it at Best Buy, and it's a mechanical keyboard and I really like it, and I've had it for about a year. So yeah, I'm using a Fnatic. I think actually, now that I think about it, I think it's a Streak, a Fnatic Streak. It was for around 130. I bought it open box for 80. Are you going to play Cyberpunk 2077? Who knows, man? Who knows? Because I might be 50 by the time it's released. To be honest, I don't know why people are excited for Cyberpunk. You know, it's video games, dude. Eye candy. So if I turn it on, I won't show on the screen. Probably not, dude. If you need a dedicated graphics card, uh, if you want to find out the quickest method if you need a GPU or not, if you don't get a signal, then it means you need one. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure you need a graphics card. I would try running it. I don't think it has any not to my knowledge, I don't think the 3100 has any integrated graphics. So, but I would try either way because who am I to know? Ryzen 5 2600 versus Ryzen 3 3100 versus the Ryzen 5 3500X. Which one is the best pair to wear? Which one is the best to pair with GTX 1660 Super? Well, we're talking about two 6-core CPUs and a quad-core CPU. So probably going to go, I mean, I don't know what you're going to use it for. So you're probably going to want to go with something that's 6 cores, dude, because it's better. And speaking of, every single time this pops into my head, every single time I see someone talking about the 3100 or I think about the 3100, it's you're talking about for gaming. I'll be honest, you're probably better off with a 2600. I don't own either of those, but I believe the clock speed on a 3100 is higher than. You're probably better off, now that I think about it, you're probably better off with a 3100. But here's a problem: I don't have a personal experience benchmarking either of these CPUs. The closest I have to this, to the Ryzen 5 2600, is a 1600 AF and a 3600. And that's kind of the middle ground in between those CPUs. But if we're talking about gaming, I believe the 3100 has a higher clock speed than the Ryzen 5 2600. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't looked into those at all. Frankly, I think the Ryzen 5 2600 and the 3100 are obsolete. That's why I don't know about them very, very much. I'm not that educated on them. I don't have my parts picked out yet, but there's a lot to choose from within my budget. You have a lot to choose from in your budget, dude. You're lucky you have. I would consider you fortunate to have that big of a budget. When you look it up, that may have secretly changed. You never know. This is the language of the enchanting table to me. I got a cheap chuckle. 3100 does. Okay, yeah. So for gaming, you're going to benefit from a higher clock speed than core count. When you consider CPUs, who asked me that? Mohammed, I think. Yeah, Mohammed. When you consider CPUs, you're considering them for gaming, you should look for higher clock speed as opposed to higher core count, because most games will benefit from that. 3.6 base. Okay. Yeah. 3100 is N2. And here's the thing. Someone said the Ryzen 3600, Mr. Ortega said the 3600 is $5 more than 3100. And this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is why this processor, I literally just said it. I don't know if anyone missed it, but this is why the 2600 and the 3100 have become obsolete by AMD themselves. The fact that the 1600 AF and the 3300X exist overrides the, in general reasons, overrides the existence of the 3100 and the 2600 at this point. Now, considering that prices and availability is crazy right now, and mind you, the 3300X hasn't been in stock for the past whole summer. you're better off buying a 3600, which is a better CPU and usually cheaper on the used market. Yes, the 2600 is very old now in hardware years. Can you make your lights dark green? I want to see what it looks like. You want to see the fans dark green? I can do that. That's a disgusting green. I don't know what the heck that is. That's dark green, right? Hardware years. Just like dog years, I like to think, and I believe it's true, hardware years is a thing. Coined by myself. I haven't heard anyone else use it. I mean, 2-3 years with your iPhone is a lot more than what it sounds like. We should use that more often. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here all night. Not really, though. I feel like I missed something. You guys are great asking me these questions. We're having an engaging conversation. This is why I live stream. You guys are the best. You like that? I think it's actually an interesting look. I like that. So when I Tiger plays, when I pick these parts out, I'll tell you this. I made sure that the RAM was RGB so that I could do this. I could customize not only the fans, but this. So like let's say I want to change this only to white, I have it at white. Or say I want the fans to match that, or say I want to be an idiot and turn these, what is that, orange, gold-ish? It's orange. I have the option to match everything to that. That's a disgusting orange. There she is. So yeah. Any tip for cable management? Yeah, I have a lot of tips for cable management. Make sure you spend time on it and you spend energy on it. There's no rule. I shouldn't say that. There's no 100% right way to do cable management. Talk to you two said, watch the video Jay's 2 cents just put out if you have a modular power supply. That's a good recommendation. I love Jay's 2 cents for cable management. He has some great look on that. He has a great look on that. Great perspective, great tips and stuff like that for cable management specifically. The way I used to do it was cram a bunch of cables in what seemed to be an organized fashion, but I came to learn that a lot of it depends on making sure it's not just doesn't look organized, but it's optimal for your computer. And by optimal, I mean something that won't collect dust and it won't block airflow, because cables do block airflow sometimes. Yikes. Sorry about that. Time has no meaning anymore. I don't know what you mean by that, but that's a little too dark. I can't believe it's August now. I know what you're talking about now. We all really thought we were getting an extra week of spring break, and it's August now. Because all the cables of the power supply are already connected. Yeah, man, it's about routing them to where you won't see them from the outside visibly, and they, like I said, won't be intrusive to airflow and collecting a lot of dust. So what I mean by that, to stop that, is that's why you have cable ties, and that's why more premium cases will come with better cutouts for you to route those cables. Like say this one right up here. Let me open this so I can see what I'm doing. Like this one right up here, the CPU cable that runs from the top. This case has cutouts at the top that have the ability for me to do that. Like this 24 pin connector right here I'm pointing at comes in from the side of the motherboard. And the bottom, you can barely see, thanks to this power supply shroud, you can barely see any cables going through there. Ryzen 3 3100 GTX 1660 Super, 8 gigabytes of 3200 megahertz RAM. Can I stream? I'm going to be a jerk here and say, yeah, you can stream on anything. If we're talking technical terms, you can stream on a laptop. It'll depends on the hardware that you have that will output the resolution, the quality that you need or you want. But to be more specific, can you stream video games at 1080p? Probably not ideally. You could probably stream at 720p, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'll be honest. Some people don't even notice the difference gaming in 720p as opposed to 1080p when they're not told. So I wouldn't worry about it, dude. If you're going to build this computer, if your budget allows you to build a 3100 with a 1660 Super, 8 gigabytes of RAM, go for it. You can stream on that. Should you upgrade in the future? Yes. What should you upgrade? Make sure you get a good motherboard that will allow you to upgrade from a 3100 to more cores in a processor, and 2, upgrade your memory size. So go from 8 gigs to 16 gigs. But you can do it. You can stream esports games already, is my guess. Yeah, for sure. If I leave my PC with the back thingy open, is it going to stop working? Because I'm saving for my GPU, so I'm not going to use it. Is it bad? What do you mean by the back thingy? If I leave my PC with the back thingy open. Bro, my bad. I'm asking many questions, and sorry if I write wrong. Spanish is my first language as well, dude. No worries. There's nothing wrong with that. He means the GPU bracket. That's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure. You're fine. If you leave the GPU bracket, like are you talking about the thingy back here, dude? If you're talking about the thingy back here, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Dude, you're the best. Thanks for the suggestion. Anytime, man. That's what I'm here for. I love you all and everyone that's been here. You guys are the best. But yeah, make sure you think about your motherboard that you're going to get so that you can upgrade your processor later down the line, like in a couple years or whenever you save up. Yikes. So hang on a second. I'm processing this this comment that how long do you think 16 gigabytes RAM will be the sweet spot for gaming? Yikes. Personally, I don't think you should be too worried about your RAM, mainly because it's a personal preference thing. And not a personal preference. I should rephrase that. It's more of a subjective kind of thing, which means that depending on what you're going to use, what kind of gaming you're going to be doing will depend on how much RAM you're going to be using. So right now, 8 gigabytes is the bare minimum. 8 gigabytes is like the lowest of the low. And it used to not be that. Like 2 years ago, it used to not be that. But actually, it wasn't. I think it was just starting to be that. But either way, there's no reason you should be going lower than 8. 16 gigabytes will probably remain the sweet spot for another year, maybe. I'm not a genie, but and that depends on the video games and the video games that come out. Since we're talking about gaming, it depends on the video games that come out. And the video games that are coming out right now are using a lot of those 16 gigabytes. they're starting to use a lot. So that's why I'm saying, since I don't see any crazy games being released other than 2077 and stuff like that in the near future, 16 gigabytes should be fine for another year ish, maybe even more. Who knows, right? Because I truly believe it depends on the video games that are releasing. That's the only reason 8 gigabytes is starting to not cut it anymore for us budget gamers, because I'm a budget gamer. Once a budget gamer, always a budget gamer, guys. I mean, where all the cables are, that's open. Is that bad? I'm not the PC using it though. If you're talking about the back panel, I would say close that, dude, because you don't want dust coming in there. You don't want dust coming in there. I would say close that. Try to close that. That's not the end of the world. Talking to you too says the exact same thing. Guys, we have the exact same brain. I swear, it's happened multiple times this stream so far. I've said something, and I literally will look in chat, and it'll literally be word for word what I just said. And I swear, guys, I don't read chat. It's kind of creepy, but we have the same brain. Trying to keep track of you guys. Took me a while to process what he said. Yeah, my bad. It's fine, dude. Yeah, man, you can speak Spanish. I will, if you want, I can reply in Spanish if you want. I don't mind. You've been live for almost 2 hours? I know. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I want to say it's a good thing because you guys are awesome. I love being here. You hit the camera like 4 times right now. Did I? No. No, I have crazy feet. I'm one of those people who can't sit still, considering it's been 2 hours. Gosh dang it. I hit the camera like 4 times. RGB desk, RGB PC. Wait, hold on. I can't read. RGB desk, RGB PC, RGB monitor, RGB wall, or keyboard, RGB mouse, RGB floor, now I'm missing. I agree with that. Yes, Tiger plays. I am based off your checklist right now. I am missing RGB walls, which I would like to add. RGB floors is a luxury, but I'm also missing the essential, which is RGB mouse. Let me tell you that this mouse that I'm using, a wireless G305 by Logitech, I only use Logitech mice ever, is RGB less on purpose. It's non-RGB on purpose. That's why it's so cheap. Diego's about to stream for 7 hours. If my sleep cycle allowed me to, and I probably could. I mean, I shouldn't say could. I probably would, because I can't. That's the truth. 286 subs, not bad. Thank you, man. Slow and steady growing. O sea, tengo la parte de atrás abierta porque como todavía no he puesto el GPU. Eres puertorriqueño. I'm going to speak Spanish here for a second, guys. Sí, está bien que lo tengas abierto, pero con que no uses la computadora, estarás bien, porque cuando la usas trae mucho polvo y hará que se quede atrapado en la computadora y ya no se va a poder usar. Ya no va a poder usarse tan rápido a funcionar la computadora. That was for a question I answered about leaving the back of the PC open because he doesn't have his GPU yet. So he can't cable manage his computer properly. My mouse has a built-in auto clicker and I may or not used it in games. You're using macros, dude. That's bannable in most games. Sí, de nada. Nomás ten mucho cuidado que no toque como el piso, porque para eso es la caja, para que proteja los componentes. O sea, ten cuidado con eso y estarás bien. Yeah, dude, that could probably get you banned in most games, having a auto clicker in your mouse. What kind of mouse is that? You bought a mouse for cheating? Procrastinates. Is that what it looks like I'm doing? Talk to you too? Am I procrastinating right now? I'm answering you. I'm talking with you guys. That's all I'm doing. Even though I don't know Spanish, but I somewhat understood what he said and you said. Nice. Nice. If you don't know a lot of Spanish, that's pretty good. I'll get kudos to you, man. But I would be more worried on your auto clicker than Tiger Play said you're also missing the RGB hair. If you look in my older videos, how many of you guys have been around when I had blonde hair in my really like starting out, when I just started? Say something in the chat if you guys were here when you saw me recording videos with blonde hair. Those because Spanish and my mother tongue has real similar words. I gotcha. Yeah. Blonde hair on the top. Oh yeah. So that was a variant of RGB, my attempt of RGB hair. No, I'm kidding. That was a terrible joke. Those were just frosted tips, but hey, it was a different color. I had like yellow hair. Blonde. The first video I saw of yours was that $1,000 PC build that you made a week ago. Was that the one I just uploaded? Like how to build it? Yo desde el video $400. Okay. It's the one next to you. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. So that was recent. So welcome, dude. Gracias por verme desde hace 2 meses, creo, 3 o 4. Wow, some of you guys have been around for a while. Like since I started. When I say a while, I mean like what, a couple months. I've only been doing this a couple months. I think I should learn Spanish because of how similar it is with my language. Probably, dude. What's your native tongue? Thank you for someone said they've been around since the $400 budget Amazon video, which I don't know about you guys, but I was kind of hyped to make that because someone asked for it and I was like, yes, let's go. I'm going to make this video. Hype. And that was a fun video to make. I thought it was a really good part list that I made there. I'll be honest, it was more challenging than the $300 one. For some reason. I think it was because I was only searching Amazon, and only searching Amazon is terrible for buying your computers. You got to expand a little bit. English, Spanish, French, and Italian are related in some ways, so they can teach it in schools. Yeah, we can thank Latin for that. I was a kid that asked you if the motherboard was compatible with the 3100. Dude, I get a lot of comments like that. I don't know if I remember. I can check. I can check right now. I can look for your name. Make sure if you're telling the truth. Let's go to my YouTube studio. I get so many people asking me what's compatible with what that I just don't. Yikes. To ask you if the motherboard was compatible with the 3100. Let me look for your name. Right, this is procrastinating right here. RGB nose hairs. Your boogers come out in RGB and separately, red, green, blue. Is that motherboard in BIOS? Oh yeah, look at you. There you are. The BIOS update for the 3100. It does not. It did not. It still doesn't. Look at that. Yeah, RGB everything, guys. A while ago I used to say matte black everything. And I'm still with that, but not everything anymore. Um, there should be a balance. There should be balanced RGB most things and balanced RGB or no, balanced matte black most things. By the way, the test for COVID is really painful. It's uncomfortable. Some say it's painful, some say it's uncomfortable. It hurts AF. I'll blind them with my RGB nose hairs. I said this. Now, I don't know, Tiger Plays, if you're assuming that this is your first time that you will soon build your computer. I'm assuming you probably aren't used to mouse and keyboard. And I mentioned this in my first stream, the last stream. I've actually I'm the other way around. I've only ever played on computer, and if I were to play on console, I can't because I'm too uncomfortable with that. Are you, Frobird? Are you asking me what games I play? Yeah, you. But it's hard to aim. Yeah, it's about getting used to mouse and keyboard. I usually play. I just finished. How long ago? About a week or two ago. I just finished playing Detroit Become Human, but I'm thinking I should probably replay it because uh, it's so diverse in your options. If you don't know what it is, it's kind of like a Telltale story game, but just infinitely times better. Um, so I'm probably thinking of replaying that. But what I mainly play and what I have like the most hours in is Rainbow Six. Rainbow Six, and I play a little bit of AC Odyssey here and there. I'm gonna buy a keyboard for my music production setup. Keyboard like the piano, like a Yamaha. Is that what you're thinking? I can kind of play keyboard, but it's hard to aim. Yeah, it's about getting used to it, dude. Um, it's 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 getting the hand-eye coordination just used to it. It's really what it is. Who the hell buys expensive Yamaha? Is the Yamaha expensive? I wouldn't know. I don't know how much that. How much does that cost? Keyboard like the piano. I'm broke. Yeah, same here, dude. Mm, I have one, but it was a gift. I shouldn't say I. My sibling has one. I was actually top 500 in the game Overwatch a few months ago, and the sticks really work for me. It's just, it is preference. There is a natural advantage to mouse and keyboard, but at the end of the day, a lot of it is preference. It plays a huge factor in it. All right, let's see how much a Yamaha is, because I don't know how much one is. How much dough are we talking about? Man, these are all over the place. Oh yeah, these are pretty expensive. They can get pretty expensive. So what are you thinking? If you're not gonna get a Yamaha, what are you gonna get? Okay. Yeah, I have no idea in music production, like what the heck's going on. So I'll just look that up. Okay. Definitely a lot more friendly on the budget. I'm just starting out with music production. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, you don't need anything like that then. Awesome, dude. Chase that. If you really believe in it, go for it, dude. And by believing in it, you gotta believe in yourself, dude. You gotta see it through and chase it. Yeah, go with small first, then go big. There's a keyboard that you're looking into, but all you remember was the company name's Red Dragon. Red Dragon makes a lot of budget keyboards. Um, I don't know if you can hear, like, if the microphone picks up my keyboard, but when Tiger plays, when keyboard is clicky like that and has tactile feedback, um, it's usually a mechanical keyboard. And Red Dragon makes a lot of budget mechanical keyboards. And there's a lot of the way they work is they have switches, and there's a lot of variants of those switches. And the way they vary is in how they sound and how they work. There's tactile, there's linear, and they have different names for them. And they'll either sound like that, a little bit more quiet, or they'll be. I actually have one of those really loud clicky switches. Um, right here. So if you see are these are keyboard switches. Um, and if you, I'll give you a quick look. I'm gonna take one of these. This is, yikes, what it looks like under the keycap. Um, and these are supposed to emulate Cherry MX Blues. They're blue switches. So I'll move this up to the mic. That's a lot of tactile feedback. So that's why they're better, because you're getting that feedback and they are more responsive when you're gaming or doing whatever it is you need to be doing because you're doing this. And they're mechanical. Oh yeah, definitely invest your money on the PC and the monitor over your peripherals. Your peripherals you can upgrade easily over time. There's a lot of great budget options like this. I was looking for a really good wireless mouse. The Logitech G305 is not a bad option for me. It's all personal preference. There's a local company in my country, and they have a lot of good products for gaming. I'm gonna spend a lot of money. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna use a controller, anyways. Yeah, you could just use that, depending on the games you're gonna play. If they're not competitive games, you're gonna be fine on a controller. If they are, like Overwatch, I mean, to each their own, man. It's your personal preference. These I kept a lot. I kept around from. If you guys have been on the channel and saw the keyboard review I made a while ago. By the way, I rewatched that video recently and I cringed. I don't know why. It wasn't that long ago, but I cringed. And these are actually extra switches from that keyboard. This is from that keyboard. My classmate installed an auto clicker in my school's computer lab. For what exactly? Is he going to go pro in your school computer lab or something? He's going to play esports from there? Yikes. All right. Well, I thought I was going to do what my friend changed all the computer backgrounds to Patrick on the computer lab. You should have done Linus Tech Tips, you know, the meme with his beautiful face. There's something about auto clickers and my friends that just link up. I mean, to each their own, dude. I won't judge. But no, he should have done Linus Tech Tips on the backgrounds. Yikes. Well, I was gonna say I did not intend for the live stream to be this long, but it's getting late. So tomorrow I do have work. I have work. So I might get something in quick before noon until I have to get ready for that. So I plan on streaming, but if I don't, then I don't. If I don't stream, however, whether I stream or I don't, I will have a new video out tomorrow morning. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. You guys are the absolute best. I can't thank you enough for the support. I'm truly appreciate. I'm grateful of the support that you guys have given me on the even on my worst videos. You guys are there, and for those of you that are here right now, you're the best. So thank you all so much for watching and for being here tonight, wherever you are in the world. Yeah, as always, I'll see you guys when I see you in the next video or live stream. Peace.